Welcome back to another exciting episode of Maverick Beat. I'm your host, Rena Greifinger, Managing Director of Maverick Collective. Maverick Beat is a window into the lives of the women and girls that Maverick projects serve through the stories of those who are delivering the projects and the Maverick women whose partnership makes them possible. On this episode of Maverick Beat, we head back to Kilifi County, Kenya, to learn about Binti Biashara, a Maverick Next project supporting adolescent girls to access two critical tools for a happy and healthy future: the ability to plan their pregnancies and to earn an income. In Kilifi County, 1 in 5 girls will become a mother before the age of 20, and nearly 60% of them would have opted to avoid or delay a pregnancy if they had access to the contraception they desired. The poverty rates in Kilifi County are triple the national average, and only 13% of residents have a secondary level education. Few girls have meaningful employment opportunities. We first traveled to Kilifi on our second episode of Maverick Beat, Expanding Access and Choice, with Ann Morris and Mama Riziki, to see the impact of community health extension workers in bringing contraception directly to consumers' doors. The project was transformative in increasing access to contraception, but even when able to better plan their families, girls still did not have the ability to lift out of poverty. Maverick Next was designed to embed a burst of innovation into existing projects in order to strengthen and expand the impact that those projects can have. Here we had an opportunity to bring a livelihoods program to the Mama Riziki project. So in 2020, Binti Biashara was born. When we started the Binti Biashara project, none of the adolescent girls that enrolled in the program were in school, the large majority having dropped out of primary level. The team got to work enrolling girls in vocational skills training and mentorships that would allow them to start earning an income, learning about saving, and gaining the confidence and competence to make decisions about their lives and families. Our Kenya team found that these trainings and the mentorships offered a different and often more comfortable way to embed conversations about sexual and reproductive health, a topic that is still complex and difficult to address head-on in Kilifi and everywhere in the world. So, using a girl-centered design approach, PS Kenya worked hand-in-hand with girls to co-design a curriculum that would address both sexual and reproductive health and vocational skills education simultaneously. In this segment of Maverick Beat, we will hear from PS Kenya colleagues Sylvia Wamuhu, Health Systems and Reproductive Health Director, Christine Were, former Reproductive Health Manager, David Ongiri, HCD Exchange Design Fellow, and our Maverick Next members, Emma, Payal Patel, Shelley Trivedi, and Olivia Chowdhury. Let's tune in.
Kenya has a young population, with the majority being youth. Actually, about 70% are youth. Many of them are sexually active, including adolescents. And I'll take you down to Kilifi County, Magarini Sub-County, where we meet Pendo. Pendo is 18 years old and she has 2 kids. One is 5 years old, the other one is 2. You can imagine by the time she gets to 25 years, how many children she's going to have. And she comes from a poor family. She's married to a poor man and she's a class 8 dropout. Taking reproductive health education to the rural areas is extremely important because it helps the girls understand their sexual and reproductive health rights, and also to understand if they're sexually active, what options are there for them.
This is the game changer. The community, as I've mentioned, believe that having many children is a source of wealth. So bringing many children that you cannot educate, you cannot feed, you cannot take good care of their medical needs is a challenge. So if you bring in sexual reproductive health education to the community, to the households, and even to the local administration, then they would be able to understand that it is not negating what they believe in, but giving the mother or the household an opportunity to bring up children and give space so that they are able to take care of their children, give them the best in terms of nutrition, give them the best in terms of education, give them the best in terms of medical needs, and they can have as many as they want.
The approach which we specifically adopted is called the human-centered replication approach, which involves identifying interventions that are used HCD and taking components from those interventions and adapting them to the Kenyan context. The aim of implementing this project using the HCD process into an existing SRH programming, we are able to see whether it will be able to improve the SRH outcomes at the end of it all, so that we can be able to defend that adding an economic empowerment component is very crucial in increasing the outcomes of any SRH programming.
And coming from a design background where design research and design strategy has been kind of my career, it was really exciting to see an organization that was trying to champion the principles that I kind of follow in my own work stream and in my own career, but in philanthropy. And it's something that in the real world was like a phenomenon at the time.
Embedding economic empowerment or giving skills to these girls becomes very paramount in their lives, because we know that any woman who is economically empowered is able to take charge of their lives, is able to make decisions about what they want, and that has a ripple effect, and indeed a positive ripple effect on the whole family and the society.
And it gave very great, insightful evidence that if you combine the economic empowerment with sexual reproductive health, then the lives of the younger generation and even the community at large gets better.
I've seen domestically in work that I've done the value of women having their own economic security and what that entails, both from a financial basis, a reproductive basis, and I've explored how that functions here in the US. And I didn't have the background to understand how that experience is lived globally.
We were very happy with the community-based model, and it was very sustainable. And I can say this is contrary to our initial anticipation that this one is more sustainable, because one thing, the cost was down because we were augmenting on the existing infrastructure in the community. Another thing, the girls themselves were absorbed back by the mentors. For those who were showing a lot of potential, the mentors just took them in, and they were able even to earn income in those setups.
We made them understand that, of course, they had given birth, but they could still delay the next pregnancy, and during that time get the opportunity to build their skills in terms of the different apprentices that Binti Biashara brought on board. And at the end of the day, there was laughter and smiles in the faces of the community, and the county was so proud. And this was one of the best practices that they said they would take up and, grow to scale.
Our director, Christine Ware, said something to me that I'll never forget. I said, why are you doing this work? And what fuels you? What motivates you on the really hard days that you've had a 16-hour day in the field? Nothing seems like it's working. And she said, I will not give up on these girls because I too have worn those shoes. She knows what it's like. And I'll never be able to know really what it's like, but having the opportunity to get a tiny snapshot and knowing that we've made an impact that'll hopefully scale was really life-changing.
This is one project that was very close to my heart. Having been a teenage mother, I got my firstborn baby when I was just 19. So I was basically a pando at some point, but I got the opportunity to change the narrative.
They made us feel very involved. That's exactly what I wanted from this whole experience, was to connect with the people. We got to attend one of the graduation ceremonies for the pendos. I was like watching this, and it's honestly like within one generation, how much has changed from their mothers' lives to their lives, and they're going to teach their kids, their sons and their daughters about like birth control or like family planning. And it's the cycle of poverty, has just kind of like stopped in a way, because the understanding that they're getting and the support that they're getting from what Christine and what Binti Biashara does, it's amazing to see the kind of ripple effect it's going to have.
I think this experience has been transformational in understanding how I want to engage in philanthropy and maybe in helping me define my role in philanthropy within our family and my family foundation.
I've met some women through Maverick who are looking to tell stories of women and girls, both here in the US and globally, around issues like abortion and reproductive rights. And we've had some really interesting conversations about how can we use film and culture change and the ability of film to create culture change. It's been an interesting development to meet some really creative women who are working to tell stories on different platforms, including film.
When I give alongside other women, doing it together, and having a safe space to have vulnerable conversations, I feel much better with my giving and I'm more motivated to do more giving. So Maverick was right up my alley. It was funding women and girls and it was in a community of next gens. I am so confident in the work and the impact that we did on the ground, and I'm really excited for what's next.
They bring themselves to your level and they walk the journey with you. It motivates you as an implementer. It makes you feel valued and you want to give more to such a project because of the value they attach to it.
Too often in global health, organizations like PSI are funded to address one health issue at a time, with donors prescribing what they want you to do with their funding, rather than proximate leaders saying what they want to do. Maverick is different. Here we had a group of funders that said, start with the girl. What does she want for her life? And what are the barriers standing in her way? By designing with girls and putting their desires and aspirations at the center, we were able to bust the silos of health and livelihoods and help girls across multiple and intersecting aspects of their lives. Through Binti Biashara, 23% of girls opted to begin using a contraceptive method, and 79% said they began earning some income or contributing to their family income since joining the program. Kalifi County has already committed to scaling up the Binti Biashara model in other sub-counties. This project is a perfect example of the magic of Maverick Next, building off the success of existing projects and bringing that burst of innovation to reach more women and girls faster. The success of Binti Biashara will serve as another stepping stone to getting girls much needed access to the resources they need to plan the families and the futures they desire. To this incredible cohort of Maverick Next members, thank you. We are excited to watch as you take the creative and flexible mindset you gained from this experience into your work, your philanthropy, and your everyday lives. To the PS Kenya team, thank you for sharing so much of yourselves with us and with this project. It's obvious how meaningful this work is to you, and it is clearly invaluable to the women and girls of Kalifi County. Thank you for tuning in to our latest episode of Maverick Beat, Youth in the Lead. It is an honor to host you on this virtual journey and to witness the impact that Maverick Collective and PSI are having on women and girls, you, and philanthropy. See you soon.